Name me one scholar of textual manuscripts that agrees with you that these are not 99% spelling mistakes.
Your question is therefore illogical. It has no basis in fact. It doesn't befit the majesty of the Lord.
You're quoting a doctor of medicine,
yes, so what?
About textual manuscripts. You can see me?
Yes, but you are not entering me.
Because your vision is created.
Your image
Thank you.
is reflected on my retina in my brain.
Can you see something that's not there?
Yes.
So this Muslim says that Allah can enter creation,
he didn't say
and this Muslim says that he can't. The Qur'an has no answer to that. There you go, they walk away, they ask a question, they don't like the answer, they walk away. That's what happens. That's what happens. Yes. So what happens is Sharia law fails because Muhammad was an ignorant man who did not know. He didn't know that the sun only rises twice a year in Greenland. So he gives something that he thought was universal, and then we find actually it's not universal. So how do Muslims get around that problem? They get around that problem by making it up. They get around that problem by saying things that Muhammad never said. I.e., you tell the time of fasting and not fasting based upon the nearest Muslim community where sun rises and sets. You just invent your religion. Sharia law does not work. That is why governments and countries need to establish their own laws according to values. Now, what values do I propose they build their laws upon? Christian values. Because it's a myth amongst Muslims that Christianity isn't a guidance for society. It is. It's just not a legalistic guidance for society. It says that I, by the use of my reason, think about how do I create laws that best support the value that is pro-life, that best support the value that is pro-family, that is best supporting the value of solidarity amongst Christians. What laws do I pass to guard against blasphemy, to stop theft, to stop people dishonoring their mother and father, to stop murder, to stop lying? Now notice the Muslims all walked away. They come, they ask a question, the moment they hear something that's not on their script, they run. Because that is all they've got, a script. And you take them off their script and they have nothing to say. Right, so now let me ask you this question.
Don't ask me questions. You don't need to ask me questions.
Okay,
because I'm not a preacher.
That's fair enough.
I'm a normal person. If I want any information, I'll ask you.
That is fine.
Yeah, so don't ask me.
Alright, calm down, sir. Calm down. You're not intimidating anyone here.
I'm not
intimidating.
I'm not scaring you. I don't want to scare you.
Is there any questions? Let me throw out a
Preach to the Christians, don't preach to the Muslims.
I'll preach to whoever I want and you can't stop me. Try.
Okay, so who ruled the earth when Christ died for 3 days?
I'm sorry?
He believes in the Trinity.
Who ruled the earth when Christ died for 3 days according to the Christian belief?
Christ did.
How can you when you're dead according to your belief?
You don't even know what I believe, do you?
Tell me what you believe.
Thank you very much. There we go. That's a much more intelligent question. What do you believe? Not telling me what I believe. So let me tell you what I believe, sir. What I believe is what the scriptures teach in the in the letters of Peter, that Christ died in his humanity.
Excuse me.
1 second, no. Let me finish my answer, sir.
Don't get angry. Let him speak as well.
Practice some manners.
Okay,
practice some manners. You ask the question, at least have the dignity to listen to the answer. So, what does the Council of Ephesus teach? This is what our church fathers teach about the crucifixion. The divine does not die. Did you all hear that, Muslims?
Yeah.
The divine does not die. So the divine of the Son of God did not die upon the cross. Only his fleshly body. And so Christ was still ruling the world.
Excuse me, sir.
Go on.
According to the Gospel of Barnabas, and I shall tell you who Barnabas was.
Don't be rude to your brother.
Barnabas is mentioned in the in the remaining 4 books of the New Testament as a prince among men, as a king, as a good person. And he said that in the Garden of Gethsemane, when Judas was supposed to have embraced Jesus to show the soldiers for 20 pieces of silver who Jesus was, there was a hue and a tumult and a cry in the Garden of Gethsemane, and they all surrounded the 2 embracees. And according to the Gospel of Barnabas, who in the other 4 books is mentioned as a prince, a king among men, the person who was crucified was the person who was taken from there, and according to the Gospel of Barnabas, it was Judas Iscariot who was crucified, and that is why he said, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do."
May I reply?
Please
Okay,
do.
so he quotes the Gospel of Barnabas. If you are a Christian here, put your hand up if you recognize the Gospel of Barnabas
Because-
as being authentic.
I'll tell you why.
No, sir, allow me to reply.
Please do.
Allow me to reply.
Please do.
No Christian accepts the Gospel of Barnabas.
Why?
Let me have reply, sir. Calm yourself, discipline your heart, practice some manners. Now, quoting the Gospel of Barnabas to me is like me trying to quote the Hare Krishna book, the Bhagavad Gita, to a Muslim and to argue to the Muslim of using the Bhagavad Gita.
That's not true.
Everyone, notice they can't be quiet. Not for a second. Everyone, 1 second, sir. One question at a time.
Let him speak.
One question at a time.
He's spoken. Let him speak. He's the one.
Using arguments from the Gospel of Barnabas are irrelevant to me. I don't even feel I need to answer them. However, because he brought me up, let me just say a few words about the Gospel of Barnabas. Dr. Bruce Metzger, Dr. Bart Ehrman, Dr. Daniel Wallace, Dr. James White, some of the leading scholars of biblical criticism all consider the Gospel of Barnabas to be a late forgery written in Italy after the 7th century. In other words, no one in the academic world believes that it is a 1st century document. They all believe that it was a forgery by Muslims, written at the time when Muslims were occupying areas of the Italian peninsula. And we know it's a forgery because it gets its geography wrong.
No, you are talking lies.
It gets its geography wrong.
Finish speaking.
No, we have to correct him.
It
He's talking lies.
uses historical anachronism. It talks about things that are real in the 7th century as if they were true in the 1st century. No real historian takes the Gospel of Barnabas seriously. You, sir, have been misinformed by Muslims who have lied to you because they themselves have been lied
Let
to.
me answer what you say, okay?
Go on.
First of all, the Gospel of Barnabas was one of a whole host of books that were removed from the original Bible. The original Bible didn't have only 4 Gospels, it had 66 odd Gospels. Unfortunately, one of the Christian Roman popes decided in his knowledge and wisdom to remove these books because he felt that it did not tie in with his Gospel of Trinity, which he had tried to introduce to try and mislead the Christian people.
100% correct.
Not only that, the Pope removed these books which were later on found as the Dead Scrolls. Not only that, these 4 people who you mentioned are unknown to me. They are not known to me at all. It's the first time I've heard these so-called scholars. Not only that, in the 1970s, there was a meeting in New York of the foremost biblical scholars of the world came together at a meeting. And at that meeting, they said at the end that there are over 50,000 recorded errors in the Bible. Now, which one do you want to start with? I can discuss every 50,000 of them with you from now.
Now
Which one do you want to start with?
let me address his entire points. Let me address all of his
Can I ask you
points.
one?
No, sir. Notice they ask a question, they don't want to listen to an answer. You were not heckling when he was talking. Now shut up when I'm speaking.
You must stop the
Notice, he wasn't heckling when he was speaking. Thank you. Control yourself, sir. We're no dimmies here. Now, no, we're not dimmies here, sir. Please be quiet. So, let me deal with all of his points. Firstly, canonization. Christians are open about the process of canonization. The process of canonization was concluded in the 4th century. This is not a problem for our beliefs. However, the idea that the Gospel of Barnabas was in some true Bible before canonization was complete is totally historically bogus. The man has simply spoken in error. Now, whether he has spoken in error because he is ignorant or whether he is spoken in error because he is lying, God will be his judge. I personally believe he's just ignorant. But we Christians are not troubled by the process of canonization. Why are we not troubled? Because we Christians openly acknowledge that our beliefs came before the Bible. Before the Bible. If they come before the Bible, questions of canonization and questions of textual variant do not compromise our beliefs. Because I haven't finished. I have not finished. Notice he just wants to interrupt. Notice he does not want to interrupt. Notice he does not want to listen to an answer. Notice he wants to hear my answer. He wants to hear my answer. This fake outrage by the Muslim hecklers here is a well-practiced strategy by the regulars at the top. No! Let me finish answering the question.
Hold on, let him speak.
Perhaps,
When he finishes, leave us.
if you spend more time listening than
making the most noise is not
you
going
would
to stop
hear
it. So just
that I am
let him
answering you point by point.
No, you're not.
You talked about canonization. I've addressed the issue. You talked about the Gospel of Barnabas being taken out. I've addressed the issue. Now he said that the Gospel of Barnabas was found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. That is a complete lie.
I did not say that.
That is a complete error.
You are lying. I did not say
The
that.
Dead Sea
I did not
Scrolls.
say that.
The Dead Sea Scrolls.
I did not say that.
The Dead Sea Scrolls. The Dead Sea Scrolls are Jewish texts. They are of the Old Testament, and they are the writings of a Jewish apocalyptic community known as the Qumran community. That is what the Dead Sea Scrolls were, and they confirm textual reliability of the Old Testament, and they have no bearing and no correlation and no interface with the New Testament, which is what he implied they did. No, he talked about the 50,000 errors in the New Testament.
50,000 record errors.
Point by point, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, his dates and his numbers are out of date.
You mean there's more than 50,000?
Much more.
Can you go one by one?
350,000 and more.
How can you believe in a book?
No.
How can you believe in a book?
Notice he's
How can
interrupting.
you believe in a book?
Interrupting. Interrupting.
You are going over the tangent.
Interrupting.
You're not answering the question.
Interrupting. I am addressing your points one by one. He talked about the 50,000 errors in the New Testament. But what he did not tell you, is that one, his numbers are out of date.
Not
Two,
relevant. It's not relevant.
notice they're not listening. Sir, if you listen, you might actually learn something today.
You might learn something.
You might learn something
If you
today.
take out the cotton wool from your ear,
I will finish my answer.
But you're not finishing the
I
answer.
will finish my
But you're not
answer.
finishing
you
it.
lying.
The last half hour you're not
Not
finishing.
lying.
My point.
Yeah, but not
I
lying.
will finish my answer.
When you finish.
Thank you. When you be quiet, I will finish.
You are quiet all the time listening to your
No, you weren't. You were shouting all the time.
talking rubbish.
Are you that conceited, sir?
Yes,
that
I
you
am.
you are conceited.
I am
agree with
conceited
you. You are
because you don't know what you're talking.
You are conceited because you have no ability to measure your own behaviour. That is the very definition of conceit.
Go ahead, go ahead.
You are also conceited because you are not able to measure your own behaviour.
So you are the
So,
best in the whole world.
did I interrupt you? No, I
But
didn't.
you're lying.
Did you interrupt
Don't
me?
lie.
Yes, you
Yes,
did.
because you are lying and not
Do
answering
you
the
want to
question.
hear me answer the
Yes.
point?
Yes.
Wait,
Yes.
When he finishes, then you tell him his point.
Yes.
But you're not
Go,
Don't go over the
So,
time.
be quiet, sir.
No, you be quiet.
Triggered. Triggered.
Let him speak.
Triggered.
You spoke.
So,
Don't tell me.
he talked about 50,000 errors. What he didn't tell you is that scholars will tell you the vast majority, over 99% of those are simply spelling variants.
Not true.
But he didn't tell you
That
that.
is a lie.
He didn't tell you that. He didn't tell you that. Triggered. 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 Triggered.
It errors of
Triggered.
fact. It errors of fact.
Allow me to
You are
finish my
lying
answer.
because it errors of fact.
Allow me to
not
finish
spelling
my
mistakes.
answer.
It errors
If
of
I have one manuscript that spells John, G-O-N,
You are talking irrelevant
and
things.
another
Speak fact,
manuscript
don't speak irrelevant things.
as
You are speaking irrelevant things.
G-O-H-N, a scholar
Dancing around the
A
issue,
scholar-
dancing around the bush.
A scholar will count them as a textual
You are
variant.
perambulating on the outskirts
They
of
will,
veracity.
they will count them as a textual variant. The vast majority of errors
Are
of
lying.
textual
You are
variants
lying.
lying.
cannot,
The errors of fact.
cannot
Continue,
even be translated.
The errors of fact. Don't lie.
Let me just correct
Do not lie.
him using a
You can't
scholar.
correct me. You are wrong.
I'm going to
You are
correct
wrong.
you,
You
sir.
can't even
Why
begin.
didn't you allow him to
I'm going
talk
to
then
correct
afterwards? He's
Let me
lying, he's
correct
lying,
you.
he's lying. Why?
Let me correct you. So,
You can't even begin to correct me because you are speaking a
listen,
lie,
listen to Dr. Barterman. Dr. Barterman
Who is that man?
is a
We don't know him.
critic of Christianity.
Unknown
gay man, the
person.
gay man.
Unknown.
And he is a well-known person
Unknown to me.
amongst academics.
He was charged
I'm not an
This
academic.
just demonstrates how ignorant you are.
Yeah.
So, listen to a scholar, not an ignoramus.
Like yourself.
So,
Lying and lying.
This
What
is
an
the
ignoramus, a
question.
liar.
This is the question that was asked to Barterman.
Show
Listen
us
to
in
the
the Bible.
question.
Show us in the Bible. What
Answer
you
the
talking.
question.
You know, you're talking your own face.
You are
Listen,
giving
you're
up
not-
unimportant
This is
banality
my
and
last
banality.
point.
From the Bible.
Triggered.
Banality and banality.
Triggered.
Bible.
Even your own missus is asking you to
You
shut
are
up.
giving un-
Even your own wife is asking you to
You are
shut
You
up.
got your own face.
So,
You are
So-
giving mundanity.
so, notice,
banality,
how long
lies.
has he been interrupting at the moment?
Because you are
Because you're
speaking
not
lies.
answering.
How many minutes has he been
You are
interrupting?
not
afraid of him
answering the
talking.
question.
How many
You're
minutes?
lying around.
Good.
Let him talk,
Listen.
even if it's like, let him talk.
He's talking.
This
Why
is Dr.
He's
Barterman.
talking so long, not giving
Doesn't
us
matter,
an
let
answer.
him talk. You talk,
Why
yes,
do you
talk.
believe
He made a lot of
that
points. so
these
he's
core tenets of Christian orthodoxy to be in jeopardy based upon scribal errors you discovered in the biblical manuscripts?
They
That
are
was
not-
the question.
That is not scribal error. They are
Now,
factual
now,
error. Not
listen
scribal
to the
error.
answer.
He's lying again.
Listen to the answer.
You listen. He's
This is a recorded answer that Barterman on 3 separate occasions has confirmed that he has given in public debates.
But they are not true, the answers.
I am not lying, sir.
He is
you
lying then.
are just
He is
an
lying.
ignorant man.
No, he is lying.
You're just ignorant.
He is lying.
Tell him.
He hasn't even heard the answer yet,
Because he's a
and he's
lie.
already
Tell us
disagreed.
the
90% of them are scribal errors. That's a lie.
Who wants to listen to Bartolome?
Yeah.
We do.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, shut up then.
You shut up.
Shut up
Or
then.
speak the truth or shut up.
Shut up
You
then.
must talk the truth.
Right. So this is Bartoleme's answer. Listen carefully, everyone. Essential Christian beliefs are not affected. Let's say that again. Are not affected. One more time, just for
He
emphasis.
would say that, wouldn't he?
Are not affected by textual variants in the manuscript tradition of the New Testament.
Perfect.
Case closed.
He didn't.
You're wrong.
No, it is not a textual variant. It's errors of fact.
Evidence.
Errors of
Let me ask you one
errors,
question.
50,000 errors of fact. Number one,
Let me ask you
in one of the Gospels it says that King Solomon had 50,000 horses. Another one it says 5,000. So somebody says, okay, they dropped the zero, but the zero was invented after that, not at that time. So it
They got
couldn't be a
no
textual
answer.
error.
They got no answer.
Then one of the
They got no
50,000
answer.
was lied.
They always shout too
All
much.
lies.
They don't listen enough. They
All
need to
lies.
unwax their ears a bit.
No.
Do you believe in the Old Testament
must
and the
speak
New
the truth.
Testament?
So-
You will learn to speak the truth.
Yeah,
Answer
you
the
should do
question.
that. Try that.
Answer the question.
Try that, bro. Try
Answer the
speaking.
question.
mistakes in
Answer
the
the
Quran.
question. There you are.
Thousands of mistakes.
50,000.
Yeah.
50,000. Let's go to the one by one. Come
Okay.
on. I'm prepared to discuss with you.
So,
now.
right.
Let's go to the one by one.
Let's talk about his first example. His first example is not in correlation to the topic.
It
That
is.
shows how ignorant he is.
No, sure, you're ignorant. You don't want to believe
Because
your own Bible is lying.
Because
Your Bible is
because-
lying in two different books.
Because he started talking about textual variants. But what he gave as his first example is not a textual variant at all.
Exactly, to prove to you
It
that
is.
it's textual variant.
It is
It's an error of
a fact. It is a fact that in two parts of the New Testament we have a description of history that seems to disagree. That is not in the category of textual variant.
Of course not.
But you were arguing that it was. You don't know the topic.
You said 90% of the errors were textual variant, and I
No.
think that is false.
I said over 99%
Correct.
were spelling mistakes. Try to listen.
But that's wrong.
You would have heard me
You are
if
wrong.
you had paid attention.
You are wrong.
All right, the scholar that backs me up is Dr. Daniel Wallace.
I'm not
Which
bothered
scholar
about him.
agrees
I'm
with
telling
you?
bring open this and
One
let's
second.
go to them one by one.
One
I'll
second,
discuss
sir. This
every
is
one
not
of
your
them.
property.
It's not
It
yours.
was given to me. Stop grabbing other people's property. It's not yours. We're not your dimmies here. So, listen. Dr. Bartolome agrees with me. There's spelling mistakes. Dr. Daniel Wallace agrees with me. There's spelling mistakes.
Unknown people to me.
Unknown to you because
Yeah.
you're an ignoramus.
No.
What scholars agree with you? Name one.
100,000.
Give me one of their names.
4.5. I tell you, sorry. 1.9.
One name.
1.9.
One name.
One.
Henry Boussaïl.
Henry Boussaïl.
Yes.
And what does he say?
He's a Frenchman,
What does he say?
and he says, and he agrees with
Did
the,
he convert to Islam?
what's the relevance of that?
Because he's not converting a textual scholar, that's why. He's talking about a French medic. A French medic.
So what?
Because
So
we're
what?
talking about textual
Yes,
manuscripts.
and he is a textual manuscript
So you
scholar.
need a scholar in
He
textual
is
manuscripts
a scholar in textual manuscript.
of medicine, not textual manuscripts. You're quoting a doctor of medicine
Yes, so what?
about textual
He is a
manuscripts.
doctor of medicine and he's a
I
doctor of
am
divinity
quoting.
also.
I
He's
am
a doctor of
quoting.
divinity also.
I am quoting scholars of textual manuscripts.
And he is one of them.
He is not one of them.
Do you
The
know who he
study
is?
of divinity
Do you know who he
is
is?
not the study of
He-
textual
He is
history.
not a Christian. And that is why
He
you
is a
don't recognize him.
Muslim.
Correct. That is why
Thank
you don't
you.
recognize him.
So you tried to lie to everybody just
No,
now.
I didn't. You are lying.
Right, I'll
You
ask
are
you the
lying.
question again.
Yes.
Dr. Bartolome is a scholar of textual manuscripts. Dr. Daniel Wallace is a scholar of textual manuscripts. They both agree with me. Name me one scholar of textual manuscripts that agrees with you that these are not 99% spelling mistakes? Name me one.
Henry Busail.
There we go again. He's quoting a surgeon, a studier of medicine,
And he's also
as
a
an
doctor of
authority.
divinity.
The
He's
study
a
of
physician.
divinity
He's also a-
is not the study of biblical manuscripts. What is the study of divinity?
The study of God.
Thank you, but what else? You
tell
don't
me.
know.
No, I'm the ignoramus, so you educate
You
me.
are the ignoramus.
According to you, I'm an ignoramus.
The
So educate
study
me.
of divinity. The study of divinity is the
just an
study
anus.
of theology and ecclesiology.
Correct.
Ignoramus.
Thank you. But the study of theology and ecclesiology is a separate category of academic study from the study of textual manuscripts. They are not the same field
I
of
agree.
study.
I agree.
Quoting someone who is an academic in history and using him as an authority in the study of biology. It's stupid to make such references.
You are running
So,
away from the topic,
For
sir.
the last time, here's your last chance. Name me one
You haven't answered
textual
my
scholar.
question. In Egypt,
And what is his qualification in?
so many I can't remember.
Which university in Egypt, please?
There's hundreds, I can't remember which
Okay.
one. What's the relevance of that
Because
question?
I don't believe that I am aware of a single one
I
second.
thought I was the ignoramus.
Yeah, well, you can correct me now.
I
So
was
I am,
ignorant.
because what I want from you is this:
Yeah.
the name of the university, so I can find the course where they study textual biblical manuscripts. Which one is it?
I don't know the name, but it's in Cairo in Egypt.
So an unknown university.
No, not unknown. Unknown to me doesn't mean unknown.
Right. So you know the scholar,
Yes?
but you don't know the university.
I'm not a scholar of the history of the education of scholars in the Muslim world.
That's fine. That's fine.
So I don't know which,
And what was his conclusions, please?
that he agreed with what I just said to you.
He agrees with what you just said to you.
Which I said to you.
Yes, the textual variants, for the most part, are not spelling mistakes.
Correct.
Right,
They're errors of fact.
right. He is disagreeing with all the leading academics in the world. His opinion.
Stop leading Christian academics, not all
Bart
academics.
Ehrman's not a Christian.
What is he?
He's a skeptic.
What's he talking?
He's an apostate. Doesn't matter.
What an
He's not a Christian.
Okay, I'll answer
He's not a Christian and he agrees with me.
Question.
He's not a Christian.
Simple question.
Here's another one that agrees with
Simple
me.
question.
Dr. Tom Wright.
Simple question. If your car is broken, will you take it to a mechanic or will you take it to a barber?
You take it to a mechanic.
So why would you ask a skeptic to comment on Christian theology?
You're the one that tried to quote a doctor of medicine
Who's also-
about textual
But he's
variants.
also a doctor of divinity.
Divinity is not the study
These
of
are-
biblical
these are-
textual
you are now
manuscripts.
making artificial barriers.
You're no, you
making
just,
artificial
you know what it
barriers.
is, sir?
You are breaking
You're
up
proud.
small.
You're
You are
too
making-
proud.
I'm not proud. I'm
You
an
can't be-
ignoramus according to you.
Yes, but you're also proud. So now you add one folly on top of another because you can't be corrected even when the evidence is against you.
That you're talking about yourself, sir. You're talking about yourself.
Who have you quoted? You quoted one scholar that wasn't relevant to the topic.
No, no,
You
no, no,
quoted
no,
a
no,
Muslim scholar who has a minority
But you
opinion
quoted a
that
skeptic.
no other scholar
You
agrees.
quoted a skeptic, not even a
Yes,
Christian.
so a skeptic
So-
that agrees with me when he has every reason not to makes my argument stronger, not weaker.
So give us another. So you still haven't come back. You're running away from the topic. My question was, tell me which of the 50,000 errors would you like to begin to discuss with me now? I'm ready to discuss all 50,000 with you. Let's start with one, please.
Yeah, let's
And
pick
don't
one.
tell me
Okay.
about scholars. I want to hear about the errors, not about the scholars who said whether the errors were right or wrong.
So now he wants to run away from the fact that the scholarship argues against him.
I want you.
So let's talk about a textual variant.
Let's have a look at all the 50,000 in that book over there. Let's take that.
These are errors in your Quran.
No. You
These
said-
are errors in your
Show it
Quran.
to me. I want to discuss the errors in my Quran.
These are errors
I want,
in
to,
your
I want to
Quran.
discuss the errors in my Quran because there are no errors in the Quran.
Fair enough, I was willing to talk about the textual variants in the Bible, but he wanted to go through the errors of the
I want to
Quran.
go to errors because there are no errors in the Quran to my knowledge.
Just so we're clear, I wasn't running away from the topic. I was quite happy to talk about it. But he wants to change the topic. And the reason why he wants to change the topic is because he knows he's in for a hiding, because he realises he doesn't know what he's talking about.
I want to see who's going to have the last laugh, you or me, at the end of the
So,
talk.
brother, you hold this for a second, because I have some in my own Qur'an. So let's talk about the errors in the Qur'an.
Thank you, you can back me up.
Back me up! He was so happy to talk about them a minute ago, now he wants Mansour to jump into the
Why
conversation.
not? Why not? Why not? I'm very
Weren't you
confident.
confident a minute ago?
But if I'm ignoramus, as you call me at times, Mansoor will help me.
So, right, let me ask you this question.
Please do.
Can Allah enter into his own creation?
Expand on what you mean by that.
Can Allah enter into his own creation?
I don't understand your question.
You can be as obtuse as you like. Does everyone else understand the question?
No. What does...
How is it you don't understand the
Do you
question?
understand the question?
What's hard?
I thought you're having a discussion on the Quranic manuscripts. That was I was trying to listen. But that's not discussion. No, but you were saying Quranic manuscripts and Dan Brubaker. Yeah, you said that. Yeah. So
He's changed the topic to Quranic errors now.
if you're interested about the Quranic manuscripts and Dan Brubaker, then we can have a discussion.
Not even talked about it. Not even talked about it.
Yeah,
We were talking about the biblical textual manuscripts and he changed the
talk
topic.
about the Quranic errors
So,
now.
Stick to this man.
can Allah enter into the thing that he creates? I.e., can he leave the place where he
Mansoor,
exists?
Mansoor.
No.
I'm interested only in Quranic manuscripts discussion.
Suddenly he doesn't want to talk about it.
You are more
He
knowledgeable
said,
than I am.
I am so happy to talk about it. And at the very first question he's running away.
Discussion was on the Quranic
What can you
manuscripts.
do?
Yeah, that's what we
But
do on.
actually, the discussion is not happening on that.
No, it is
If
on
it
Quran.
is, then we can talk
Yes,
about it.
yes, we
But
are.
on the manuscripts.
It is on Quranic.
We're not talking about
He's not talking
You
about
see,
it.
He understands the categories that you don't understand. That should be a sign to you that you genuinely are ignorant, because he understands the categories, I understand the categories, that's why he knows what we're talking about and you don't. I can talk to him about it, but you need to go away and realise that you don't know as much as you think you
I
do.
agree.
Thank you, well done. I'll shake your hand, sir. Humility is something to be applauded. Humility.
We're all
Right.
students, we're all learning.
Oh, that's fine.
No one ever can
Fine.
claim to know everything
Now
about
that,
everything.
now that we've moved pride out of the way,
Yeah.
let's have a sincere conversation. Okay, because I'm much more interested about sincere conversations rather than simply point scoring.
Who has pride? You call me an ignoramus. You are the proud person, not me.
Because you were speaking ignorantly, now you're speaking from humility. I've just applauded you. I've just applauded you. Okay? A man who is willing to change his temperament to be corrected should be applauded. So, now, so, what I am saying, when I ask the question, can Allah enter into his own creation? What I am asking is that according to Islam, Allah is totally other, and to enter into his own creation would compromise the idea of the Islamic God, the idea of Tawheed. Correct. Because the infinite can't become finite, and to enter into one's own creation, would compromise that.
Like is claimed by the Christians that God entered into Jesus Christ.
Yes, that is what you think we claim. Right. So now, do you believe? Now that I've explained it, do you believe that Allah can enter into His own creation?
Not in the sense of the Christian belief.
Fine.
But Allah says in the Qur'an, I am closer to you than your jugular vein.
Yes. Yes.
So
In
he-
terms of His power.
Correct.
Right.
He's closer to us than our jugular veins.
Yes.
But he will not enter into his creation in the sense of the Christian belief.
Right. So He won't come in. Now, tell me this.
Yeah.
Is vision a created thing?
Yes.
Is vision a created thing?
Yes.
So let me just bring you to something that the Quran
Ocular
says.
vision.
Ocular vision.
Not brain vision.
Ocular vision is a created thing. So in Surah 75, 22 and 23,
Jesus said that every man be born again. He cannot see the kingdom of God.
so this is what the Quran says.
Show it to me, please.
I'm going to. Surah 75, ayah 22 and 23. Some faces that day will beam in brightness and beauty, looking towards their Lord.
Correct.
Vision is a created thing.
Yeah.
If you are looking towards your Lord,
Yeah.
then Allah has entered into His creation.
No.
Explain to me then how they can
if
see
I'm
Him.
looking at you, I'm not entering into you, am I?
You can see me
Why can I see you? Because the light
because I am a created thing in creation,
No.
and your vision is created.
vision is an item comes in through your retina,
Yes.
goes into your brain,
Brilliant.
and in your brain is registered that
Perfect.
there is an object in front of you.
Absolutely.
And then you see that.
Yes.
And that is vision.
Great.
Right.
Yes.
So when that person
Is
on
looking
the day-
towards their Lord. Who are
on
they
the
looking
day of
at?
judgment,
Who are they looking at?
when the Creator
Who are they looking at?
are looking towards their Lord,
Who is?
God.
And it's using vision,
Correct.
which is a created thing.
Correct.
So Allah has entered into His creation.
No,
Your
he
religion
hasn't.
makes no sense.
No, he hasn't.
So how
No,
can
he
they
hasn't.
see Him?
No, he hasn't.
How can they see Him?
I'm looking towards you. You are not.
I am. You are looking towards me.
So you are not entering into me.
You can see me
Yes, but you are not entering me
because your
image-
vision is created.
Your image.
Thank you.
Is reflected on my retina in my brain.
Can you see something that's not there?
Yes. Yes, you can. Because some people believe
Yeah.
that they're seeing something which is not there.
Does it say they imagined Allah or that
No,
they were
no, no,
looking
no.
towards Allah?
I'm not talking about that verse. I'm talking about your question. You asked
I am
me
talking about the verse. The verse comes from the question.
that. So ask it again.
So the question, and I think we've demonstrated the illogical nature of Islamic belief about Tawheed.
That's not true. No.
No,
You are
we have.
demonstrating your ignorance now.
Right, well, correct me.
You are,
sir.
you are taking the whole
Correct
of
me.
Tawheed
Correct
and
me.
you are now taking the whole of Tawheed
Correct
and
me.
you're cutting it down.
Correct me.
Talking about the
Yeah.
hereafter. It's not about this
Absolutely.
There's a totally
Thank you
different
very much.
reality.
Is paradise created by Allah?
Yes.
Is vision created by
Yes.
Allah? So we're still talking about creation then?
Yes.
There we go.
Verse is
matter.
talking about
But-
the hereafter, not this world.
Whether Allah enters creation before or afterwards, He still enters creation.
And hereafter, there's a different reality. You cannot conceive
So
it.
Allah can enter
You're
creation.
comparing with this world.
No.
This
No.
is-
So Allah can
no,
enter
no,
creation
no,
after death.
No.
Right.
No.
So if Allah,
He cannot.
so this Muslim says that
He
Allah
said
can
no.
enter
No, he
creation,
didn't. He didn't say
and this
that.
Muslim says that he can't.
He didn't say that.
Let me
You
ask
said
you.
everything is created by Allah. I said
not-
yes.
I
Yes,
ask you
correct.
again.
He was answering
and
a different question.
You can support one another because clearly you need to tag team right now. You're in trouble.
You are in trouble.
So,
You are in trouble.
so we agree.
Nobody's in trouble.
We
You are in
agree.
trouble.
Nobody's
You're
in trouble.
going
We
circles.
agree.
Nobody's in
Yeah,
trouble.
these two are in trouble. You
No,
can help
no.
them. You can help
Nobody's
them.
in trouble.
No, you
I'll
are in
ask the
trouble
three of
because
them.
you're going in
Please
circles.
say.
Allow me.
Nobody's in
Allow me to ask the question.
Yes, you can.
Please do.
Indeed.
Ask the
Indeed, you
question.
can.
Okay, thank you.
You're taking those verses out of the context. You know that.
Let me finish.
That's in the context of hereafter, not in
Correct.
this world.
Let me deal with that.
Correct.
Let me
Come
deal with
on.
that.
Let him deal with it. Come on.
Thank you.
Let's see.
Okay.
Learn something.
So, we all agree that we are created.
Yes.
We all agree that paradise is created.
Yes.
We all agree that vision is created.
Yes, it is.
We all agree that according to Islamic doctrine, Allah cannot enter creation.
Correct.
Cannot.
Cannot.
Does not. That cannot.
It does
Does
not
not.
befit His Majesty. Okay,
Correct.
that's nonsensical.
So it does not.
No, the
Correct.
question is nonsense.
Yes.
So it does
doesn't
not.
make any sense.
I'm
Does
happy
not.
to change it.
Does not.
I'm happy to change it.
Does not befit His Majesty.
Allah
That's
does
what
not
it is.
enter creation.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, let's take the next
Are we agreed?
Correct.
Are we agreed?
next question?
Are we agreed? Allah
what's
does
the
not. I'm going to try and tell you.
Come on, then.
Please have to shut for a
Ready yet?
second.
Listen to it.
I can smell alcohol on your breath.
Alcohol. Forget the
I
alcohol.
can smell alcohol in your breath.
Smell shit. I can
So-
smell yogurt.
So,
Question doesn't apply.
does he enter into his creation? Yes or no?
It doesn't befit
No.
His Majesty. It's not a yes/no question.
doesn't.
It sounds like.
It doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't befit His Majesty.
Is it? Thank you. He said
It
no.
doesn't make sense. The question is
He
nonsense.
says it's not possible. So I was right the first time.
The question
was
is
right
a
the first
nonsensical
time.
question. That's
No, you
nonsense.
just confirmed the logic of the question. Anyway,
That is the
Anyway.
illogical question.
anyway. So, all of those three
Like those
premises.
questions can go create a wrong.
Are you listening
bigger
to the
yourself.
question?
It's like those questions. It doesn't
Are you
make
listening to the question?
So your question.
Right. So now we've established the framework. Let's think logically. It says in the Qur'an, some faces that day, so some faces is a created thing. That
Hereafter,
day
yeah.
is a created thing.
Yeah.
Will beam with brightness and beauty, they're created things.
Correct.
Looking, that's a created thing. towards direction is a created thing to their Lord.
Correct.
Yes, sir,
So
it's a different
Allah has
reality,
entered His
not the same as this
creation.
world.
No, he hasn't.
They contradict their own book.
No.
Right.
No.
So reconcile the contradiction.
As I explained to you earlier on,
I'm listening.
Number one, you cannot compare what happened in this world with what happened in the hereafter. The laws are different. Gravity exists here, gravity may not exist in the hereafter. Okay? If you leave a stone here, it may fall to the ground. In space, it doesn't do that. In heaven, I have no idea what it does. No one has mentioned it. Because we don't know. It may do all three things. It may float, it may fall, it may do nothing. Okay? So, therefore, your question is therefore illogical. It has no basis in fact. It doesn't befit the majesty of the Lord. Your question. So ask us a question which befits the majesty of the Lord, and we'll attempt to try and answer it.
Okay, let me reply to his argument. Okay. So his argument was that at this point in creation, the laws are different from the next point in creation. That there's a division line between death.
Correct.
And what can't happen in this point of creation can happen in the next point of creation. Have I mischaracterized your argument?
No.
So I'm being fair to you.
Yeah.
However, if you listened earlier, he gave an absolute answer that Allah cannot enter His creation.
I withdraw that statement.
Thank you. Thank you. No, sir. When he was talking,
I withdrew the statement because it's illogical
let
to
me
ask
reply.
it. It does not befit His majesty.
Let me reply.
Okay.
Stop being rude. Let me reply. So now, he has withdrawn his statement.
Yes,
Because it's illogical.
Let me reply, sir. Try to calm yourself. Now you're behaving like you were before.
Okay.
And you were doing so well.
Come on.
Now,
So now
the
suddenly
fact
you are
of the
Judge
matter
Judy and
is-
executioner.
Let him
You are
say
now
his
Judge Judy and
notice the
executioner.
heckling. It's all the time. When you point out the errors of their book, they can't
There
have
are
a
no
rational
errors.
dialogue.
No
They
errors.
can't have a
There
rational
are
dialogue.
50,000 recorded errors in the Bible.
Triggered.
There are
Triggered.
50,000 errors in the Bible.
Let me
not a
deal with
single
his
one in the
argument.
Quran.
Yes.
Let me deal with his argument. Because now my Muslim interlocutor has agreed that Allah can enter into
No,
his
he
creation.
No.
There you go.
You are lying.
They
You
jump
are
from
lying.
one verse
You are
to
lying.
the next
You are
verse.
lying.
He has
They jump from one verse to the
No.
next verse.
I said that the question
Try
does
again.
not-
Try again.
I said the question does not befit the majesty of Allah.
Right.
By the way, Allah is also an Arabic word that Christian Arabs use.
Don't
call
change the
God.
subject.
I'm just reminding you
genuine.
that
Don't
Allah
change
is
the
not only
subject.
a
He's not
Muslim
changing the
word.
subject.
Allah is also a
So what?
Christian.
I'm happy to call God Allah. I know my brothers and sisters in the Arab world use that. Please,
Arabic
let's
Christian.
continue.
Arabic Christian.
Jesus, continue. You've not proven anything. You've
I've
not
proven
proven
to you-
anything. God is not a mouse.
Allahu Akbar.
God is not a mouse.
Allahu Akbar.
Akbar is mouse in Hebrew.
Yes, indeed, sir.
Allah Akbar is mouse in Hebrew. God is not a mouse. Sorry. Anyway, God is not a mouse. Now, you're dancing, sir. Your position is changing.
No, it's not.
You started off by
No, it's
saying,
not.
No, it's
No, it's not.
allow me to finish. Are you just going to interrupt me all the time? I didn't interrupt
You are gonna change your words?
You're older than me. You should behave better than I
As a
do.
youngster, you should behave in a way that you respect your elders.
Respect that.
Then be a man that I can respect, and I will.
A louder voice does not make you
Sir,
correct.
sir,
Listen to this woman.
sir, you have,
Correct the lies that you
He's
speak.
sir,
He's a big man.
you just said that Allah can't enter His creation, but then you agreed.
No.
Well, now he's going to change again.
No.
His statement.
Withdrew my statement.
He
I
said to you,
it
I
does-
would withdraw his statement.
It does not
So
So
do-
take that on board.
can Allah enter His
That
creation?
question does not befit the majesty of Allah.
Let me rephrase the question to befit the majesty of Allah.
Yeah.
Would Allah enter into His creation?
And
No,
the
he
answer
won't.
is the same, that
What?
it does not befit His majesty.
So is that a yes that He would or yes that He wouldn't?
The answer will not change irrespective of the way you ask it.
So is that a yes or a no?
It is the same
Ask in a
answer.
different manner.
Whichever way you ask it, it does not befit the majesty
It sounds
of
to
Allah.
me like my own Muslim interlocutor is being deliberately obtuse.
No, it's
No, I'm
not.
not.
No, it's
You
not.
are tangential.
Indeed, it's not.
I may be obtuse,
Ask-
but you are tangential.
Please answer the question. However you want it phrased, I simply want to know, in any possible universe, would Allah enter into his creation by compulsion or choice?
To answer you, according to what the Christian belief is, the answer is no.
No.
According to the Christian belief, I said.
Right. So let me tell you what we Christians believe.
What do you believe? Tell us, please.
And then we will see why he's contradicted by his own holy book.
No!
Come on. Let's hear it say now. Come on.
So,
Come on.
my Muslim friend is trying to essentially defend a position that states that it is not befitting to the honor of Allah to enter into his creation. Is that fair?
Sorry, my wife.
That's fine. I'll say again. The position, it sounds to me like you're trying to defend, is that it does not befit the honor of Allah,
The majesty, I
the
said.
majesty of Allah, whatever word you want to use, to enter into his creation.
Correct.
Right, so I am not being unfair
About what?
about my question.
Which is what?
That we see in the Qur'an that faces are created things, days are created things, brightness and beauty are created things, vision is a created thing, direction is a created thing. And the Qur'an says this: some faces that day will beam in brightness and beauty, looking towards their Lord. Now let me ask you this question. If the Lord here is not referring to the person of Allah, who is it referring to?
What's the relevance of that question? You know the answer. Why you ask me what you know already? Answer me. Ask me something which you don't know.
Sounds to me like he won't accept that he doesn't know the answer.
I know the answer.
What is?
And you know it too.
So what is it?
Perambulating on the outskirts of veracity and verbosity.
Absolutely
trying to
right.
things
He's
which are absolutely
100%
rubbish
right.
and lies.
Great rhetoric.
Tangential, you
Now
are.
answer the question. Do you want to hear him answer my question? So the question was, and maybe you can help him.
Come on. Yes, I'm here to help.
Come on, Mussulman.
Yes, Muslim.
Yeah.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
God
Allahu
is
Akbar.
not a mouse.
Yes. Yeah. Zindabad.
Allah is not a mouse.
Allah is Allahu Akbar. That's what Allah is. Allahu Akbar. That's what Allah is. Allah is Allahu Akbar.
He's the
That's what he is.
greatest.
Mujahideen.
He's the greatest.
Muhajideen. Anyway, moving on. So come on, Mr. Muscles. Answer me this.
Why are you asking the same question in circles?
Because you haven't answered it, you've avoided
Come on,
it.
let's
I haven't answered. I haven't
Question,
answered.
work together, help one another.
We are.
And maybe there are other Muslims that would like to chip in.
I
and
don't
say-
need
no
the
one's
help.
got to help you.
I don't need
It's a
anybody
shame no one's
help to
helping
answer.
him.
Right, so the question I'm asking, the passage contradicts their argument. It says that they see Allah. It says they see Allah in a direction. That means Allah has entered into correction.
No, doesn't mean that
If-
Allah entered into your own
if
words. You are making your own
the
words.
question, sir,
Look,
You are
the
making your own words.
question
answer 10 seconds.
is,
You will not change
if
that.
the word Lord
You are making
is
your
not
own
referring
words.
to Allah,
Making his own words.
who is it referring to?
Asking the same question in 10 different ways will not change my answer.
Which is,
That it does not befit Your Majesty. Go to the next question, please.
did anyone hear an answer to my question?
Yes.
Yes, 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 yes.
What was my question? So repeat it, what was my question?
It does not befit the majesty of God.
What was my question?
Can
Allah?
Go back to Sunday's question.
No, you weren't listening. What was my question?
I'm going to ask you from that side.
If it doesn't, who is being referred to when it says they were looking towards their Lord?
Allah. God.
There you go!
But that doesn't.
There you go! They were looking towards Allah. Now is vision a created thing?
Yes.
Is direction a created thing?
Yes.
Is the day a created thing?
Yes.
Is paradise a created thing?
Yes.
Is their face a created
Yes.
thing? Is beauty a created thing?
Yes.
Then how can you say Allah has not entered into his
Because
creation?
you are not giving your answer. You are saying a thing which is not true.
You're going in circles.
So your Quran is false.
No, you
I
are
agree
false.
with you.
You are false.
Your Quran is false.
You are false. You
and
are
I will
false.
say the Quran.
You are saying
Let me
things
tell you,
which are
and
not
not
in
my
the
book.
Quran.
No, no.
Don't touch it.
Yes,
So
the
what?
Quran
Not your
will say the
property.
Quran, and no one
You
will
are
change the
speaking
Quran.
lies.
Let me tell you,
You are going off
Allahu
opinion.
Akbar.
You are being obtuse.
Quran has already
the
been
Quran
changed.
will never change,
never
and
been
no
changed.
one
It's
will ever
already
change
been
the Quran.
changed it.
Let me tell you, no
already
one
been
could
changed.
change it. People like you
It's
will change
already
the
been
Quran
changed.
with your words. Let me tell
already
you,
been
the
changed.
Quran
You are
will
going in
change
circles.
with
I will
your
take my
words,
leave. I
but that
cannot-
is not the Quran.
So-
talk
That's
with you
your
because you go and
Quran.
change
it.
Let me tell you one thing, Allahu Akbar.
This
And I can't-
supremacist-
I got no more time for you, and that's it. You go away.
This supremacist-
Go.
No, they all run away.
Allahu Akbar.
They all run away.
Allahu Akbar.
Do you see, brothers and sisters? Their own book is full of contradictions. They attack the Bible here at the corner, week in and week out. But yet when we Christians point out the contradictions in their book, they can't handle it. You can't have it both ways. Either Allah can enter into his own creation, in which case you can see him, or Allah cannot enter into his creation. And if he cannot, the Quran contradicts you. And if the Quran contradicts you, the Quran is in error. But then you can also say that we are wrong for saying Jesus entered into creation. But what you can't say is that when it suits you, your God can enter creation, but our God can't. You can't have two forms of logic. There is only one logic created, and it applies to both of our beliefs. My beliefs are logically consistent. I believe that Allah can enter into his creation. And if the Muslims believed as I believe, this wouldn't be a contradiction. But they believe something different, and their book contradicts them. I believe God can enter into his creation. So that means that God can become Jesus, and the Muslims should either stop believing in their Quran because it says Allah does enter into his creation, or stop attacking Christian beliefs here in the park. I leave it to you. Who do you believe? Those Muslims who contradict themselves, or we Christians who are consistent in our application of logic? And I invite all of you, Muslim, atheist and agnostic, to pick up the New Testament and to read it for yourselves. Don't read it through the prism that your mosque told you to read it through, or that the BBC told you to read it through, or that your atheist friend told you to read it through, or the likes of those virtue signaling hypocritical celebrities tell you to read it through. Read it for yourselves and make your judgment based upon your own research, and speak to knowledgeable Christians about our faith.
You win. Perfect.